Do you know the face of an addict? Think about that. When you hear addict or drug user, what picture comes to mind?
Do this with me, okay? Close your eyes. Is it somebody unkept, eyes withdrawn? Is it somebody that's antsy, picking at their fingers, maybe picking at their face? Or does that person look like this? A 31-year-old, 6'4", 340-pound defensive end for the Baltimore Ravens. You may remember, Elodie Nagata was suspended for 4 games this season for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing drugs. So what was the drug? It was Adderall, a prescription typically prescribed for those with ADHD. Used correctly, it's supposed to help those who need it to focus, but for those abusing the drug, it acts as a stimulant.
A method some college students are now turning to nationwide just to get by. Research shows 44% of college students are using prescription stimulants like Adderall to help them study, while 31% abuse them to stay awake.
I haven't gone to sleep earlier than 2 every night this week.
Unfortunately, this is a regular thing for college students, especially during exam weeks.
I don't want to sound like derogatory, but I think hell would be like a good word for it.
I've spent more time at the library than I've spent at my house. I feel like I should be paying rent there.
Sophomores Jared Boone and Ben Gosselin rely on the typical forms of caffeine for energy.
I mostly use coffee.
And then Mountain Dew too. So I mix it all in, and last night I had a lot of Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids to keep me going.
But research shows more and more college students are turning to prescription drugs to help focus during exam weeks.
Ritalin and Adderall are pretty prevalent in the school settings.
These are rarely cases of students actually seeking out dealers. It's usually that medications are being shared with friends.
Some students aren't aware of the danger.
Students might exaggerate their symptoms so that a physician will bump up the dose of their medication.
But Ritalin and Adderall are in the same drug category as hydrocodone, a dangerously addictive painkiller.
The same level of abuse potential.
Plus, there are other risks involved, like increased blood pressure or heart rate.
These medications can worsen agitation or anxiety, so they're certainly not going to be a calming influence.
And a calm mental state is exactly what is needed when taking that big exam.
It's kind of like the finish line in like a marathon. Like it's the final sprint, so you have to like really dig deep and push forward.
Not only does prescription stimulant abuse affect a student's health, but it impacts society as well. Between 2005 and 2010, there was a 134% increase in emergency room visits related to abuse of stimulant medications. That's more than 30,000 emergency room visits a year related to prescription stimulant abuse. So there is also a high cost to society. And listen to this. About 1 in 5 college students admits they have abused a prescription stimulant at least once in their lifetime.
And our first guest today is one of those people. WBOC's anchor Chris Weimer joins us now to bravely tell us his story of stimulant abuse. Chris, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, sure.
This is a tough story to tell, so thank you for sharing it.
You're welcome, first of all, but thank you for letting me share it, because the more you talk about it, the better it is for everybody, I think.
Yeah. Now, you were first introduced to Adderall in your freshman year of college.
Yeah, just watching that story, that's exactly what I think a lot of students or a lot of people are like. It's college. You've got good intentions. You want to get good grades. And this drug, I mean, it just does that for you. You are focused, you are in tune, you're probably going to get better grades at first. So it wasn't, there was no malintent on my part, but it can get bad.
You didn't set out to become addicted.
Not at all.
And that's the thing, this just try it once thing quickly turned into I need it all the time, right?
It did. I don't want to sound like a victim. The reality is I made really poor choices. I was very irresponsible. But yes, after a while, you start to, the way I look at it is I was doing great, I was studying. Next thing I know, you know what, I want to clean my room.
Right.
Next thing you know, I want to do this, I want to do that. Now I want to just be awake. Now I just want to be able to exist and live functioning.
It progressed.
It progressed very quickly for me. Yeah.
So what did it do for you? What did it do to you?
It focused me. I always had a tough time studying as a kid. Reading was very challenging for me. My attention was gone. It allowed me to really buckle down, stay focused, and read and absorb what I was actually studying. So it helped. It did help me at first.
Yeah.
Did you have physical effects? Were you shaky or anything like that?
Yeah, you shake a little bit. you're so zoned in. Sometimes you talk a little too much and you're just a chatty Cathy.
Right.
And sometimes you're so zoned in, you're just a little bit behind. You're like a step behind. People are joking, people are laughing. You're so focused in, you're just kind of in your own world a bit.
So there were times that you didn't have it. What was that like?
At first, it was very normal. I could have it, I could not have it. But like I said, it progressed. And my personality is a very addictive personality. So eventually, when I didn't have it, the way I put it like this, you think you can read the instructions on a box of Pop-Tarts?
Right.
That was challenging for me.
Wow.
Just to be able to put my attention to anything was very difficult. And that's embarrassing to admit. It's embarrassing to admit that my house went to disarray, my responsibilities went out the window if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
So would you say you hit rock bottom at this point?
My rock bottom, I absolutely hit it in college. Everybody has a different rock bottom. I've been in recovery now for 9 years. Everybody's is different, but I hit rock bottom, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was my rock bottom, I say that.
So your parents agree to treatment, but they don't know what the real issue is.
Right, that's right.
What was that like?
I don't want to speak for every addict,
Yeah.
but we lie. We are in denial. We're not bad people about it, but we're
Right.
trying to hide things. So I don't know what it was like for them. I'm not sure. I can tell you it was exhausting for me to try to hide it.
When did
know
it
if that
finally
answers.
come out?
It didn't come out until I went away to treatment for depression, which was true. I was depressed. It didn't come out until my next treatment. About a month later, they sent me to another treatment center, and finally, you get with other people who say, gosh, I have a problem, I have a problem. You start to realize, you know what, it's not a bad thing to have a problem.
Right.
The bad thing is hiding it. So it wasn't until my second treatment that I finally said, you know what, here's my issue. I'm an addict. This is what I used, and these were my problems.
Chris, an incredible story. Thank you for sharing it. Now, the
you.
best part of the story, congratulations on 9 years clean.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's
That is the best
awesome.
part of the story. I agree.
And you really have a great support system behind you now?
A great support system, and that, in the end, you have to be accountable for yourself. You have to know what your issues are. You have to be willing to share them. And my hope, not to bridge the question, but my hope is that people see the successes you have. I'm engaged. I've got this fantastic job at WBOC. My life is a success. I'm
Right.
happy every day. So the shame in hiding something is not worth it. And I want to make sure people know that it's okay to not be ashamed to say you have a problem.
Right.
But it's still day by day.
Sure. I mean, it is. Everything's day by day.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their challenges day by day. Of course, it's day by day, yeah.
Chris Weimer, you are an inspiration, my
Thank
friend.
you, Jimmy.
Thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
Lisa,
so
thank
much.
you so much. Wow.
Coming up a little later, Chris, you'll be back to join us again, this time to share with us your ride-along experience with a repo man. We find out just how dangerous a job it can be.
Plus, something that's supposed to help you protect your little one from danger is a baby monitor. But could some models just be allowing danger right into the nursery? You're going to find out how scammers are hacking in.
But next, we continue our look into prescription drugs, how psychotropic drugs are supposed to help those who need it. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.